I'm Anni Leppänen. I want to welcome you to the city of Helsinki and our offices here in Kalasatama. My talk is about leading with journeys. Before that, I want to have all of you get the postcards, and then I'm going to dim the lights. We're going to be in the darkness because I want you to imagine your experiences and journeys in the city of Helsinki. So think about what comes to your mind first when you think about the experience and the journeys in city of Helsinki. Is it perhaps the physical surroundings? Maybe you took the metro, you were walking here, you were using roads and going past parks. Maybe it's about the daily lives you live in the city. You're taking your child to daycare, they're going to school. Maybe you're visiting the health center or starting a business, finding a job. There are a lot of things that is kind of making the city experience. And for us employees, it's really important to understand and remember that the city is primarily a place and a community. So it's not the organization primarily. So that exercise was just for you to kind of understand the context where we're doing journeys in the city of Helsinki and our kind of challenge of zooming out all to the level of the city experience and kind of connecting with the society and the context of the planet. So a little bit about me. I'm a government change maker with a 15 years experience working in the public sector. I'm trained first by social sciences from University of London, and I was working for the UK government back in Helsinki World Design Capital year. Do you remember 2012? It was really big for design. And so I found my home in design then and trained as a strategic designer at Aalto University after that. And since then, I've been working as a service designer in the public sector, first at tax administration and then at this digital transformation unit, D9. And around that time, I also set up this community for designers in government, julkismuotoilijat. And since 2019, I've been working for the city of Helsinki as a lead service designer, and my responsibilities are in digital customer experience. So today, I have so much to tell you that I have this like massive list of things that I want to share because it's an important moment. I want to tell you about a story that is starting from 4 years ago when we started this website renewal project. That sounds quite strange beginning for the story, but we used it as kind of a Trojan horse to start this massive transformation of agile and customer centricity. So, and it's really something that has taken us towards the ideas around journeys as well. And why we think we did one of the biggest website renewals in Finland is because the old website had like 580,000 pages. So it was a lot of work to go through. And I want to tell you this story because I'm hoping that maybe with the story you realize that you're already working with journeys. You already have a foundation that you can use. And also maybe you can learn from our experience and also maybe of the challenges we had. And hopefully we can, or you can teach us how to like overcome those challenges. So this image you have on the postcard as well. And I made it for this event because it kind of describes the story, the journey that I want to take you on. So 4 parts. First, I'm going to start by the strategic imperative to understand how we explain why we're doing journeys. And then the biggest part is the building blocks, the journeys themselves. And then the third one is about transformation, and that's going to be very short, just to explain like how change is very important, like Marian was saying. in this transformation. And then the final bit about operations, I'm going to try and have a look into like what we're going to be doing next. So strategic imperative, I think it's really important to understand the context you're working in and also the strategic big picture that you're going to be connecting your journeys and your journey ops with. So this is our context and our big picture. The context of the city is that we're a huge organization, so journey ops can help us kind of figure out the chaos of the organization. So when you have a big organization like us, it's very easy to kind of fall into your silos because you want to be efficient and you want to be good at your job. But because we're so big, we don't have time to talk to each other. So there's a lot of silos. But if you look at the design context of City of Helsinki, we have this huge 10 years history of using service design, and design maturity has been growing a lot. But we have a very distributed design structure. That means that we don't have a central kind of function leading the whole design operations. We are very project-based. We do over 100 projects a year. Democratization of design is very sort of far. We have units that are independently using design, not perhaps calling it design at all. And then we have the strategy side. So this is the context of the organization. And then here we have the strategy side. And we need to understand how we are connected to the city strategy that is politically formed. And it was actually the middle of the project that they changed the strategy. And in the previous strategy, customer experience was really kind of central and very clearly defined. But then in the new strategy, it was more these kinds of words: productivity, impact, and this well-being, segregation, and climate change. So big, important topics. So we needed to kind of reorient to the different priorities. But luckily, in the digital customer experience strategy side, we have this goal on end-to-end journeys, which really help us to kind of gain this collaborative atmosphere, because everyone kind of felt that it's easy to understand how shattered the Helsinki journey is, because everyone is focused on their own service, so it looks really different from the Helsinkians' point of view. So everyone kind of wanted to commit to that goal of working together. And next, I want to show you the design principles from the website Renewal project, because they really helped us to also get into the journey ops side. Human-centered. So this is something I'm going to talk next. So we anchored our journeys around themes, and that was very crucial. I'm going to explain what I mean by themes in a bit. Services first. So this one was really big on journeys as well. You know, when you think about websites, you think about communications units. That's their like main business. And often services are done by business units. So you have communications units and business units who are kind of doing their own thing. And from the customer's point of view or from the journey point of view, it doesn't connect. So getting that principle, services first, was really important to put the kind of effort into prioritizing services and not the communications part. Consistency, obviously, in this organization, with the size and everything, it's important, and it can help you to push forward journeys as well. And then, of course, we're designing services for all Helsinkians. So having that principle, getting the focus on accessibility and inclusion, can kind of help you build the basis of the journeys on research and participation. So now to the main part of the presentation, the actual journeys, and about structuring your journeys. So I recently read from Marcia Arico from a blog post that you need to find anchors to your journeys, because anchors are something more stable when journeys, especially when you zoom in, they might be constantly changing. So what could be your anchors for your journeys? So us, it was the themes. But before I go to the themes, I always want to ask this question first. Who is the customer? Because it's the hardest one. And traditionally, organizations, they go for the first one. Oh, we have our segments and target groups, and that's it. But as designers, we know that doesn't bring a rich picture. So we came up with these user profiles that are more around like behavior patterns and abilities and interaction styles that are kind of constant when using digital services. But that was not enough either. So we built the customer personas that are more rich with the lived experience and with the motivations and experiences of daily life. And that was centered around the themes. Almost about to explain what the themes are. How we got to the themes was based on user research. We understood that needs are crossing the boundaries of our organizational structures or the silos. When you try to take care of a task in the city or use a service, it's often kind of orchestrated by different parts of the organization. So we definitely needed these kind of cross-functional teams. And we identified during this 4-year journey, we identified about 30 themes that are based on 5 kind of perspectives. And the principles for identifying your themes, maybe you can use this, is that you always obviously need to identify the theme from the customer's point of view. How does it look like to the Helsinki and what is important to them, not the organizational structures? And then you need to collect all the services and all the content together and make it big enough for people to take care of many things. Then we went on to build each theme very rigorously based on service design. These are probably very familiar things to you. Each of the thematic concepts would include parts like this. And when you zoom into the journeys, here's an example from urban planning and construction. This is like really familiar stuff. Current state gets really like it's relevant in that moment in the project work, but it's often kind of you need to constantly update it. And then you have the future state that is describing the vision for the customer experience. So we had a portfolio of journeys, and we had the funding and the team and the time to do this 25 times, 25 themes. We had this massive opportunity to map out the entire organization. But we also realized that it's not enough to kind of map out the journeys. You need to find the higher hierarchical level. So we developed this end-to-end joint experience journey. That doesn't sound like, in Finnish it makes more sense. Asiointikokemuksen viitekehys. And also the words don't really translate that well. But the purpose of this 4-part stage framework was for us to kind of get everyone in the same picture. Because like in the example of communications and business units being separate, you know that website, for example, they're focused on finding the information, and e-services, they are focused on starting the journey from logging in. So they're always like looking from their own silo. So this helped us to bring everyone in the same picture and everyone to understand how they are connected to each other. And we also used it in the product roadmap. So here is an example that we identified first a lot of UX solutions that could help to improve the end-to-end journey. But then we prioritized based on user research and kind of technological evaluation 6 solutions that are most crucial to this end-to-end journey. So we were able to use this joint framework to also prioritize our product roadmap. So the bit about transformation, because so that was kind of telling you about the journeys, but how do you make the change happen? That's the tricky part. This is my favorite quote. Strategy is delivery. And it took us a while to kind of really internalize this because it's so easy to kind of do the research, map the journeys, and even like plan for the measurement or measure and collect feedback. But if you're not able to make the changes to the actual services and products, the capability of delivery, you're not going to be doing much than planning. So you need to be constantly thinking about delivery, and agile and product thinking can help journey ops in that sense, because you need to be constantly delivering value, because you need to be justifying why you're doing the work. So you can't just focus on the design bit. Shortly, I'm sure you're familiar with agile and product thinking, but these are some of the ways that we were introducing agile and product management to the organization during these 4 years. And it really helped us to be constantly launching services, constantly delivering in order to gain support for this journey work that we were doing. I'm not going to go through these development models, but just to say that you obviously need these sort of things in order to have the pace and the pipeline of doing work. You need a research model in order to have the user understanding basis for your journey. So you need this stuff, but I'm sure this is like familiar to you. So before the last bit, I just want to kind of recap the maturity journey in 4 years. We started from like almost no design, and we went on to having a design-led transformation process. But the tricky part now is that how do we get to the next step? And it requires us to kind of get a part in the continuous development with the communications, with the product teams, with the business units. So it's going to be hard. So the last bit is about operations and how to systematize the doing. Yeah, so after the 4 years busy, program life, everyone running and trying to get a lot of things done, and often designers working in a project model, so saying like, hey, good luck with the next steps. But I think with Journey Ops, we're really looking into this idea of like, how can we work in this similar way that we worked in the 4 years in the continuous development phase? And also, how can we integrate that into management models? We did a playbook that kind of describes our ways and shares them openly. It's online, velikirja.hel.fi. You can check it out later. We build a team that is more like a long-term establishment that is kind of that has the capabilities of like continuing with the journey ops. But obviously, design team is not enough. You need to build communications and product and business side as well. And this picture is actually from a year ago from our team, so lots of new faces as well. So it's easy to slip back to the silos and kind of forget about the journey. So I'm kind of here a little bit kind of nervous because I think we forgot a lot about the journeys now. And I'm going to be challenging the organization because I was reading Marion's blog actually, and I took this last bit from there because I was really inspired that product management and metrics is nothing without journeys because it leads to sub-optimization. So you need to go back to the journeys. So I did a bit of status check. I was thinking that we became great at delivery. We had the ingredients for continuous development. POs had like a lot of materials they could use. We trained a lot of people. So we're quite happy about that. But then next, I think we need to be thinking about how might we continue to lead the product around journeys, because we're not doing it right now. How might we continue to work across the silos? Maybe train new people. There are lots of people coming in. And lastly, how do we reorient the management model to support the journeys? This is my last bit, and it is kind of like an aggregated image of the management or the ownership model. So you have the 3 levels: strategic, tactical, and operational, and you have these groups that are working at each level. For example, strategic board that I'm part of, and content and product prioritizing group. And then you have the product development team and team core teams. And then we have developed these objectives and metrics around these topics like customer, brand, employee, and technology. Then we have the theme CX visions. We have the product roadmap. But something's missing. We're missing the themes. They're not part of the management model anymore. We're missing the critical journeys, like Marion was saying, that you need to find the critical ones. We're missing the minimum joint experience. We need to reorient our model on this again, and we need to keep training. We can't just do it like in a project mode. So yeah, thank you.